Hey guys, welcome back to the Chit Chat. Today with us on the panel is a new face, Mr. Guy Isaiah Smith.
Hey, how's it going?
Today we're going to be discussing autism. So can you tell us specifically what autism is?
So autism is like a spectrum disorder. It's not like a disability. It's like affects the person's brain differently. That means like they see the world differently from others. They may not see how they think, or may not think how they feel. Some of them can't talk. Some of them can't understand things. Just some of them can't really know what it's like to be in a world like this.
Okay, so can you tell us the distinction between high functioning and non-functioning? Or would it be what would be the other term as opposed to high functioning?
So I think it's like moderate functioning. So when someone's like moderately functioning with autism, that means they can't really talk or do things. They may not drive a car or live by themselves. And with high functioning, people are able to talk, but most of them, they have trouble socializing, making eye contact, or understanding certain things like understanding like how does this work or how does that work or how they do this or that.
Okay.
But most of the time, like with people with high functioning autism, they're like super intelligent. They can do like crazy things. Like, but I saw like they can do like stuff like this, stuff like that. Like they can like count like many numbers and find it out by themselves like just like that quickly. It's like super cool.
Yeah, I do. I've heard of people with autism being really good like artists and stuff. And you guys know the show The Good Doctor?
Yeah.
The doctor, he has autism, but he can't really like socialize with other people, but
Right.
he's like an amazing doctor. So in what ways would you say that it's extremely important for people to be able to socialize with one another, people with autism?
Because for me, I know for me, I have like a hard time socializing with people. Like, I get a little nervous, like talking to somebody. Like, will they like me or will they get to know me? Like, there are times I don't mind not socializing, but there are times I don't really like to socialize much. But there are times I like to do that because I don't want to feel like by myself, when I'm stuck up. I don't want to be by myself all the time. It's like it's not fun to be by yourself all the time, but
Right.
you do need friends because I think it's important for people who are autistic need friends and also need their family too, because oftentimes families can't accept having their child being autistic or
Wow.
might be ashamed.
Yeah.
Because I've seen a lot of things like families saying that I can't have this kid, like why is he autistic, like is my child going to have a normal life?
Oh, wow.
So it's just something some people don't even know how to deal with, kind of thing. You
Yeah.
know, they don't know how to take care of it.
Like when people hear the word autism, they're like, what? That's autism. It's like, what's going to happen to my child? Like, how's he going to grow? Will he be able to grow out of it?
Do you know of spaces that can help people if they're in that situation where their family isn't accepting of their disease or their disability or disorder?
Well, I do know there's a lot of places like an autism clinic, and I know when I went to find out my problems with autism, I went to a school that helps me with autism. It's called Blue Ridge Autism Community Center. It helped me out like a lot. It helped me out helped me out to read, helped me out to speak, helped me out to socialize with others, helped me to be myself too.
Okay.
Do you think that when you came to college, was it hard for you to be able to make friends? Because I would say you're pretty popular on campus.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, at first I didn't think it was that hard at all. I got to meet a lot of people, and a lot of people got to know me. It's like everyone knows Guy. Hey, Guy, how's it going? Hey, Guy. Oh my gosh, Guy, that's Guy. That's Guy. Hey, what's good, Guy?
Okay.
What do you think are ways to help people that are autistic that deal with bullying?
So let's see, like bullying is a major issue for people with autism because sometimes when that bully does something to the person with autism, they may not understand. Like they don't even know they're getting picked on, but they don't realize that. They will make jokes, say like, "Oh, he's so weird. Oh, he's so stupid." That's not cool. Not cool at all. Because what I saw because that person who is autistic try to say something like serious, but people think it was funny. It might be funny to them, but it not be funny to that person who is autistic.
Yeah. Right.
And they start laughing and start making some bad jokes about that person. They might take it too personally or might hurt his feelings.
Do you think that you've dealt with like bullying even while being like a college student, you know, in your experience with autism?
Well, I have been bullied a lot. I have been called the R word too many times. And I've been called weird and been laughed at too many times. Because it felt like I didn't really have any friends or anyone to stick up for me. Like, people who wants to pick on me, I don't know why I was getting picked on, but I didn't do anything to anyone else.
Right.
But I don't see the reason why they want to pick on me, because, like, do they think it's cool to pick on somebody? No. Bullying, it's not cool.
Yeah. Has it ever happened here in college or no?
Well, not really.
That's good.
That's good.
Yeah. Okay.
Would you say that there's a lot of positive autistic representation in the media?
Actually, there is. Like, when I saw, like, lots of things on social media, lots of things on, like, movies and TV shows, like, you got two people who are, like, a couple who have both autistic, and you have a Power Ranger who is autistic, too.
Oh, wow.
Steve
Yeah.
Jobs. He was autistic.
Really?
Oh, that's
I didn't know that.
wow. That's dope, though.
And Dan Aykroyd, who used to be the cast in the Ghostbusters, he was autistic, too.
The guy off of Big Bang Theory, the main character.
He is?
Sheldon?
Yes.
Yeah, he's
I didn't know
autistic.
that.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
Do you have any other idols that are autistic that you look up to?
Well, I actually look up to Tipple Grandin, because she's more like, know what it is like being autistic, but she doesn't let it take the best of her. So that's what makes me, that inspired me, that she does not afraid to speak what she speaks about, like not afraid to speak out her thoughts.
Right.
Okay, okay.
Is there any advice that you could give to other people that have autism that don't necessarily have a good support system around them?
Well, what I give advice to a person with autism, like, the first thing is, don't be ashamed of having autism. It's
Yeah.
just one part of who you are, but that's just not just one thing.
Right.
Right.
You're
It's
just
not who
like,
you are.
it's who you are. Like, you can do things if you could just overcome it. Like, don't let autism, like, take the best of you.
Right.
Because who cares who you think you're autistic?
Facts.
Like,
Facts.
so what if you're autistic? So what?
Yeah.
So what if you're different or people don't understand you? So what? You're still a person. It doesn't matter who you are. It doesn't matter the color of your skin. It doesn't matter where you come from. It's just you're that person. Even regardless if you're autistic or not, you can always do things. You can do things if you put your heart to it.
Exactly.
What do you think like different colleges and universities could do to accommodate for students who are autistic or do have like disabilities on their campuses?
So if they have like a hard time with studying for a test, or they get like nervous, like I recommend finding someone like other students to give like a studying group to study, like get more prepared for a test, and speak with their advisors and professors, like get to educate those professors and advisors, because
I feel that.
sometimes professors may not understand autism.
Right.
Because there are oftentimes that when I was in college, like, I had professors that kind of underestimated me because they didn't see the potential I can do.
Wow.
I
Cause,
proved them wrong at that too.
yeah, because it's not my fault. It's just what they gave me, like all the materials, all the studying, all the notes, that all the words on the book. It was made it hard for me to study. Like all the information is like a lot to remember. It's like when I take a test, I get really nervous.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Really nervous.
So like, how do you prepare for like exams and stuff like that? Like, what is something that you do so you're not as nervous or whatever?
Well, I like to set some notes. Then I call my parents, like, give me some notes too. Like, write down the notes.
Okay.
Like, take it time by time. Then, like, take an hour to study. It'll take like a few days to study when I get prepared for a test.
Okay.
And I like to read carefully.
Okay.
Yeah, definitely. Okay.
Do you think like training for students with disabilities, I hate calling them disabilities, but training for students with those kind of conditions should be implemented into like faculty, administration, and professors, like their practices? Because I know that for different occupations, like you, of course, everyone goes through like a certain training period. So you think like education for those students should be implemented into that kind of training, and not just like a set apart space? Because I know here we have, I think it's the DRL. I know the name has changed, but that's what I remember it as for students. You know what I'm saying? And I don't know if like they have one particular place that really helps students, or is it everyone that has to go through the same training? So do you think that should be something that's implemented into?
Yes, it should, but actually there is something like that in that CS office. It's called
word.
the Autism Mentors. It's a new
Oh,
autism
that's
support group.
awesome.
Nice.
So I got to meet some more people who are like me with autism, and I recently got to meet another student who was a grad student who was recently diagnosed with autism last month.
Oh wow.
Oh yeah, I remember hearing about that.
Okay.
So is it, I've never heard of anyone being diagnosed with autism, like, I guess, this late in their life.
As an adult.
Yeah, thank you, as an adult. I couldn't think of the, like, phrase, as an adult, is that common?
Well, not really, because sometimes like it's like so hard. Like it's not easy to see the problems you have. Like I guess it's like more calm.
Yeah.
Okay.
But with that student said, like they realized why they have so many problems. Like
Yeah.
when they were told that person was autistic, they were shocked.
Right.
Mhm.
Because I was shocked too when I was diagnosed.
Yeah.
How old were you when you were diagnosed?
So, at first, used to live in Pulaski. I was diagnosed like when I was 5 years old, but it wasn't confirmed. But later, I was diagnosed when I was 10.
Okay, so officially
Diagnosed
you're
and
10.
confirmed. Oh,
Okay. Okay.
word.
Growing up in like elementary school, middle school, did you have other people around you that were autistic?
Well, I did have a friend named Michael. He's also autistic. He's a really fun person. It's like he has a hard time socializing,
Okay.
but I still like to hang out with him. Like, hey, when you want to hang out sometime, I say yes.
Mhm.
Because he does have friends, but he has a hard time finding friends to hang out with. There are times I have a hard time hanging out with friends too.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
So you guys have like a similarity, so you
Yeah.
can bond over that. Cool. Okay.
You have friends that are not autistic, correct?
Yeah.
So do you think that it's hard for them to be able to relate to you sometimes?
Oftentimes, yeah. Like, they don't really like see me as a person at times. Like, they say that, guy, like, you just keep using autism as an excuse.
Oh wow.
Like, I know like autism is not just who I am. It's like I had a friend that told me that I'm much more than that.
You are.
You are.
Definitely.
Like, I don't want to use autism as a excuse or put me down so much.
Yeah.
Because there are times like when I feel like, oh, why do I have autism? Like, why do I need this? Like, am I more going to have a good life with autism? I used to feel ashamed of having autism, but when I started getting older, I thought I wouldn't be ashamed anymore.
Yeah.
Great.
That's
Okay.
dope.
Good.
Awesome.
What do you think that people that don't have autism need to know about people with autism?
I think they need to get to know the person more.
Okay.
If they see a person with autism getting upset or feeling lonely, like talk to that person.
Right.
Be connected with that person. Like see if saying hi or say hello. How are you doing?
Mhm.
Or like have a conversation or have lunch or hang out.
Mhm. So you think like patience is important and stuff with that, and communication and stuff?
Yeah,
Okay.
communication. Like
Nice.
get to know them first and not just think about the label
Yeah.
and just
Don't think about the autism.
yes. Don't think about the autism. Just think of the person.
Right.
Exactly. Okay. Nice.
Is there anything that you are doing now or that you plan on doing in the future to give back to the autism community?
Actually, I was thinking about continue my path as an advocate for autism.